in the cemetery are books that have never been written, music that we've never heard, paintings that no one's seen, poetry that nobody's read, businesses that didn't start, awesome companies that never opened their doors, inventions that we'll never use, powerful, courageous women who died as prostitutes, awesome men who died as alcoholics and drug addicts. It is a rich place. Die empty, pouring out your dreams, your ideas, your visions, your books, and your music. That is the goal of life. Die empty, because it's finished. Go to the cemetery and disappoint the graveyard. It's the late, great Miles Monroe, Bahamian evangelist. Let's rewind to 5-year-old you. What a great time that was. We're playing, we're in the sand. Everything is a beginner's mentality. It's like the first time we've done it. Even if we did it 100 times, everything's new. We say what we want. We go say hi to who we want. And we just go throughout the day, being our authentic selves, fully expressing ourselves. And as time goes on, early before 10, people start shaping us. And they want us to be what they want us to be. We have family, we have friends, neighbors, teachers, bosses, coworkers. They all want us to be what they want us to be. And the funny/sad thing about it is, they're not even living their own lives. They're not even living their own lives. And that's what happens. We go on and on. We live a life, as I like to say, in a default state. And then we come up to 95-year-old you. It's been a decent life. You had some good relationships. You had a good job. So on your deathbed, let's think about that. We don't talk about death enough in this society. What's it going to be like? I think we'll all have some friends there and some family. They'll be bringing you food. They'll be talking about the good times. They'll be pulling up their phones and showing you memories of the past. Maybe the 50th anniversary of Break the Mold they'll be showing you. But then they go home, and you only have a few days left. So now you're alone. But you are not alone, because the ghosts of your dreams and passions are now standing beside you. They're not happy. They're pissed off. They're disappointed. They're angry. They're crying. Why? Why didn't you share your gifts with the world? How come you didn't go up and say hi to that person? Why didn't you ask for that raise? Why didn't you write that book? Or learn Spanish? Or pick up a baton? Why didn't you share your gifts, your essence, your zone of genius? We were right there for you. and you never brought us to life. So now, as you lie on your deathbed, you're full of regret. So today, I am going to share with you 3 simple shifts that are going to create more abundance in the 3 most depleting resources of your life: your time, your focus, and your energy. I have been in sales for 25 years, honing these skills and continuously creating efficiencies. You, by implementing these habits today, will immediately level up your health, your wealth, your happiness, and your relationships. Social media, the news, and energy-sucking vampires are going to try to take these resources from you. And you know it. So let's prepare ourselves. And let's make 5-year-old you and 95-year-old you proud. And before we get in, I always like to say, we are doing the best we can with what we have at this time. Simple shift number 1. Establish an evening routine. Tomorrow starts the night before. And if you think the morning practice is powerful, wait till you add the evening routine onto that. You will be fire. So, the evening routine is going to ground and close your day. So think of the morning routine as a bookend and the evening routine as another bookend. That's what puts your day together. You're closing out and you're grounding your day. Establishing an evening routine will also reduce morning overwhelm, and you'll sleep better. Now, there's a big reason for this, because later on I'm going to show you how we plan for tomorrow today. So who, when they go to bed, has a mind that's racing 100 miles an hour of what we should have done, what we didn't do, and what we have to do tomorrow? Because I know that feeling. We're all in that boat because we want to be our best selves. And then how about when you wake up in the morning? I know I have records playing in my head. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking we have a lot on our mind when we wake up. We got to take care of the kids. How are we going to make food? Our car needs an oil change. There's a lot of things going on. And again, we're doing the best that we can. So lastly, the evening routine is going to encourage consistency throughout our day. And this is really, really important, because when you think about the tasks and the behaviors that we have to move us to that next goal, to start that YouTube channel and to get on 6 podcasts, or to be in the top 1% of podcasts, is it hard? Yes. My opinion is it's a little bit harder to get the consistency, because we're probably doing the right thing. We're just not doing enough of it. My friend, Alex Hormozy, says, do more reps. And he's right. That's all it is. There's no magic bullet. There's no silver button. Come up with the words. You just got to do more reps. And I struggle with that at times too. So, to establish an evening routine, I have a 4-part process: reflect, disconnect, plan for tomorrow, and breathe. And the way that we want to implement this into our evening is the way that James Clear from Atomic Habits says: whenever you begin a new habit, you stack it and connect it with an existing habit. So, before you get ready and before you brush your teeth, here's how we go. Number 1, we reflect. Ask yourself these questions. Number 1, what happened to me today that I'm grateful for? Next question is, what actions did I take that got me closer to my goals? And lastly, what can I change? I just love these questions because they're a wonderful blend of gratitude and self-development. Can't get any better than that. Next, we want to disconnect. So imagine driving a car 70 miles an hour and you're trying to park going that fast. That's what's happening when we're watching YouTube videos before we go to bed, or we're derping on social media. And you know what the scary thing is? Your brain is going to replay whatever you watched, listened, or read before you went to bed. It's going to replay that 100 times while you're sleeping. Is that what you want going through your brain? So, get rid of the phone, turn off the computer, at least a half an hour before bed, if not an hour. And lastly, turn down the lights and tidy up the place. It's always good to wake up the next day with a tidy home. Okay, so now we're going to plan for tomorrow. This is a big part of the evening routine, planning for tomorrow. List out your 3 top priorities. Now, priority really does mean 1. So I'm going to say if you have more than 3 priorities, you have no priorities at all. So just cut it down to 3. List those out, and it's going to create massive momentum towards your goals the next day. And this is where the calming effect comes in when you go to bed, because now you don't have to think about what you're doing. You just wrote it down. And when you wake up, you don't have to think about it either, because it's already there. And lastly, we want to breathe. We take 20,000 breaths a day. We may as well get this one right. So as I'm connecting for success in 2024 with all of you, and like Carolyn showed us, breathing is super important. So we're going to do a quick 2-round practice here, and it's part of the evening routine. So I call this, or somebody called it, the 4-7-8 breathing technique. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8 seconds. And the key is you want the exhale to be longer than what you're holding in. That's really the key of this. Okay? So we're going to just do 2 rounds of it right now together, because you know what? I'm breathing a little bit shallow up here because I'm still a little bit nervous. So I want to breathe, okay? Let's do it together, okay? Ready? 4. I feel better, thank you. Thank you for encouraging me to be better. I appreciate that. And share that with your kids and your family and your friends. It also works in the car at a stoplight. All right, so how powerful is the evening routine? Well, about a month and a half ago, I was working with real estate clients, transitioning seniors, an amazing couple. They had been in their home for over 30 years, and I was grateful that they trusted me to list their home. Well, over 30 years, they had a lot of emotions, they had a lot of stuff, and they had a lot to do, and it went quick. So the prep started months before, and I remember throughout the process talking with them about every other day, and they were making progress, but it always seemed like it was just overwhelming. Well, then their home got under contract, and all of a sudden we had 3 weeks to close and get the rest of everything out. So it was the time to share the evening routine. So I said, I have this evening routine I'm going to share with you, and you don't even have to do all of it. Just do part 3, which is plan for tomorrow. If you want to do the rest of it, that's great. But just do the plan for tomorrow. Write down your top 3 items that are going to give massive momentum to get us to close that next day. And I promise you, you'll sleep better. So, we're at the closing table, and it could be very emotional, as all the lenders and realtors and whoever's bought a home in here. It's an emotional time, and we were reflecting, and I recognized that I did what I was supposed to do, and I went beyond. Because she said to me that the only thing that kept them going was making sure that they planned for tomorrow the night before. And the nice thing about that was, even 2 days before the closing, the house was completely cleared out and cleaned. I almost couldn't believe it. But it was great. And I did my job. But most importantly, we just did the right thing for the clients. And you all know that. So ask yourself, what is it costing you by not having a consistent morning routine, evening routine? Simple shifts create abundant gifts in your time. Simple shift number 2. To create more abundance in your focus, practice the Pomodoro technique. Francesco Cirillo. What a guy. Back in the 1980s, he was a university student, and he came up with this time management system. Because as you all know, there's a lot of studying to do in school, and it gets super overwhelming. Just like when we start a business, there's a lot to do. So he was trying to come up with a way to make it more efficient, and so he actually studied. So what he did was, he took this timer that looked like a tomato, just like in this picture, and he set it for 25 minutes. And he would work in 25-minute blocks by having a 5-minute break afterwards. Therefore, we have the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro is tomato in Italian. So what will the Pomodoro technique do for you? Number 1, it'll reduce procrastination. How many people procrastinate on the important stuff we're supposed to be doing? How many people procrastinate even more on the really important stuff that we're supposed to be doing because we think it's hard, and then we vacuum and do dishes and all these other things to think we got stuff done, but we really got nothing done? Me too. If you would see how clean my home is and my sock drawer, that's procrastination. So the Pomodoro technique helps us reduce procrastination. And the way that it does that is because it doesn't seem like the job is that big to do. It's only 25 minutes. We can all do 25 minutes. Next, the Pomodoro technique limits multitasking. I'm not sure when we were sold that multitasking is this great feat and we're doing a lot and we're really successful by multitasking. Maybe it was the 80s or 90s. Whatever it was, it doesn't work. It's a farce. Because basically what we're doing is we're spreading our focus across 5 or 10 different things at the same time, and we're only going an inch deep. The Pomodoro technique, we're focusing on one thing, and we're going 10 feet deep. We're giving it the energy and the focus that's necessary. And lastly, Pomodoro technique will increase motivation. And we can all use a little bit more motivation, but it's really cool how this technique does it. So what happens is, after you're done with the 25 minutes, it creates a data point, and that data point builds confidence. That data point builds confidence and motivates you to do it again because you accomplished something in 25 minutes. So, as we learned, we want to take this and connect it with an existing habit. So let's say we get to our desks and we open up our laptops and we're going to start with our emails. Sounds good. Seems like a typical morning. So you set your timer for 25 minutes. Hit start. Don't do anything else but your emails. It doesn't matter if the phone rings. It doesn't matter what's going on. I hear gasps. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's probably not that important, but we think it is. Stick with the 25 minutes. Go through every single email. Answer it. Put a calendar invite for something. Mark something else down. File it or delete it. Get through the 25 minutes. Bam. The timer rings and you're done. You get up and you get away from the computer. Go outside. Go washroom. Do dishes. Do some push-ups. Do something that's not the task at hand. And that's the key. You have a 5 or 10 minute break. Then, if you really need to catch up on emails, you go back and do another 25. I suggest, though, because of our evening routine, we wrote down our 3 biggest to-do items. So after your emails, get on that biggest to-do item and knock out 25 minutes and create that data point and raise that confidence and motivation to take a break and hit it in another 25 minutes. Your business will grow. Your kids will thank you. You won't die of regret. Think about that. So I struggled with this one because it's a lot of words. But I thought it was important to read this testimonial because it was very impactful. So it's almost word for word. I'm going to go through it. I don't want to write a book, but I know how critical it is to thought leadership, and I have a concept that my audience needs to know. I've started writing, and it's been a challenge to get words on the page. I find distractions and excuses not to write. Buckling down with the Pomodoro technique has been a big help. I can focus for 25 minutes, take a break, and then come back and focus for another writing session. I've been making the progress I need to complete the manuscript in the coming months, and I'm grateful to have a proven technique that can help me find success. Hey, Dave, introducing me to the Pomodoro technique has been a game changer. Thank you. I remember when this text came through. It was awesome. So ask yourself, what is it costing you by not using the Pomodoro technique? Simple shifts create abundant gifts in your focus. Simple shift number 3. Let's create more abundance in our energy. And the way to do this is to get more sunlight exposure. The sun is our gift. It's life. Everything on the planet is here because of the sun. Maybe carbon too, but because of the sun. Everything's growing. It's embedded in our DNA. So what will getting more sunlight exposure do for you? Number 1, it'll enhance your mood and raise those dopamine levels. So dopamine is the feel-good chemical that our body releases. And we can naturally do this by getting more sunlight. And it's not so much about the dopamine spike. We want to keep it steady. We want to keep that good feeling throughout the day. So when we're with our kids and we're with our clients and we're looking in the mirror, we're fulfilled. Getting more sunlight exposure will reduce stress levels and cortisol, which is the stress hormone. We are continuously in this fight or flight mode. News, social media, energy-sucking vampires, fight, flight, run. There's no saber-toothed tiger anymore. What are we running from? So stress hormone and cortisol was definitely brought us to where we are today as human beings. The challenge is we keep these levels up way too long throughout the day, as opposed to just a little here and there. So getting more sunlight exposure will do that. And lastly, getting more sunlight exposure will help regulate your sleep cycle and give you more energy throughout the day. And this is super important. We have a circadian rhythm, and that's the cycle of our system, approximately 16 wake hours a day and 8 hours of sleep, give or take. It's not an exact science, but this is the way that we evolved throughout tens of thousands of years. And when we get that morning sunlight, especially in the morning, with no sunglasses, because you want to keep the naked eye on the sun, it resets the circadian rhythm in our whole body, every single organ, your heart, your lungs, your liver, your skin, your brain. It resets that whole clock and gets you into, as Carolyn says, the flow. My friend Andrew Huberman. Does anybody know who he is? Yeah, he's an American neuroscientist. Amazing. He's got a great podcast. We'll talk about that later. So he suggests getting 10 to 15 minutes of natural sunlight every day, especially in the morning, and no sunglasses. That's the key. You want the light to hit your eyes so it sets off biologically everything in your body. And as he explains, this is not like woo-woo stuff. There are thousands of peer-reviewed letters showing the benefits of regular exposure to sunlight. It's grounded in our physiology. And it is the most powerful stimulus that we have to give us energy throughout the day and help us sleep well. Somebody in here said something about Red Bulls and energy drinks. Same difference. Cool. I guarantee you after 2 weeks of getting 10 to 15 minutes of sun in the morning, you'll feel a lot better. It's natural. It's not easy. So how do we do this? Well, we move to another state, yes. Or we can get some fake lights in the house. But here's how we do it, and we're all doing the best we can living in Northern Illinois. So what we do is we connect it with another habit, like your morning routine, like brushing your teeth. When we're done with the morning routine or brushing our teeth, go outside if you have a balcony or a yard and watch a little bit of the sunrise. You don't have to stare into the sun. Let's just be in the general vision and let the sun hit us. And if that's a challenge to do in the morning, then here's another suggestion. After lunch, take a walk for 20 minutes in the sun. And again, the key is no sunglasses. Because if you have sunglasses on, you're blocking the rays hitting your eyes and in your retina, and you're not getting the stimulus. So take a walk after your lunch. Stephanie, an entrepreneur and colleague of mine, recently said, I can lose perspective easily. Yeah, I know how that feels. Even easier when my energy is low. The default in this world is to spend our days sitting in front of a screen, and I know that increases the disillusionment. When I stopped drinking, I started paying attention to the things that gave me natural highs. Sunlight and vitamin D is one of my favorite shots of dopamine. When my energy feels low, I go for a walk without sunglasses to rewire my thoughts and get out of the natural and get that natural energy boost I need. The time invested in doing it seems to create energy in a compounding way. I always come back feeling better. So ask yourself, what is it costing you by not getting enough sunlight exposure? Simple shifts create abundant gifts in your energy. Okay, well, it's that time. I invite everybody to take out their phones and scan this QR code. It's going to go to my link tree, and I'm going to share with you the top 5 podcasts that I've been listening to raise my time, focus, and energy. Clearly, everything I'm sharing with you today did not come from me, and we're all into not only self-development, but being the best people that we can. So we want to be surrounded by the greats. This is a way to be surrounded by the greats throughout the day, is listening to podcasts. So when you hit the podcast button after the QR code, it's going to pull up an email, and just in the subject line, put top 5 and hit send, and I'll send you that list. Your email is always protected by me too, naturally. And after that, I'll invite you, if you want to hear more about personal and professional development, and of course the Live Beyond Default live stream, which is your weekly dose of personal growth, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll get more of that. And if you have friends or family that are into real estate, there's some real estate videos on there too. Today, I shared with you 3 simple shifts to create more abundance in the 3 most depleting resources of your life: your time, your focus, and your energy. What that looks like is establish an evening routine, practice the Pomodoro technique, and get more sunlight exposure. Now, you might be asking yourself, will one simple shift do it for you? I'd like you to find out. I'd like your curiosity to pave that path and go on this journey, because it's your choice. You can live by default, the way others want you to live, or you can live beyond default and make 5-year-old you proud and 95-year-old you proud. Thank you.